in the frozen Arctic Ocean, far beyond the reach of cities, roads, and ordinary human life, lies an island ruled entirely by nature. For most of the year, this land is trapped under ice, swallowed by darkness, and battered by brutal Arctic storms. Yet somehow, life survives here. More polar bears live on this island than almost anywhere else on Earth. Massive walruses gather by the tens of thousands. Ancient creatures roam a landscape that looks completely untouched by time. This is Wrangel Island, Russia's lost Arctic wilderness. Deep inside the Arctic Ocean lies Wrangel Island, one of the most isolated places on Earth. For most of the year, thick sea ice surrounds the island completely, cutting it off from civilization. There are no cities, highways, or large human settlements here. Only frozen mountains, icy tundra, and endless Arctic silence. The island sits far above the Arctic Circle between the Chukchi Sea and East Siberian Sea. Temperatures regularly fall below -30 degrees Celsius, while brutal winds and snowstorms make survival extremely difficult. It's cut through massive valleys while fog slowly drifts across dark mountain ranges. Even reaching this island is dangerous. Most people on Earth will never see it in person. Yet despite its harsh conditions, Wrangel Island is overflowing with life. Because this frozen wilderness is home to one of the largest polar bear populations in the Arctic. The true ruler of Wrangel Island is the polar bear. Unlike most Arctic regions where bears are rarely seen, encounters here are common. Every year, hundreds of female polar bears arrive on the island, searching for safe places to build winter dens. Deep beneath thick snow, mothers give birth to tiny cubs during the harshest months of the Arctic winter. Outside the den, freezing storms dominate the landscape. But inside, the cubs remain protected beside their mother. When spring finally arrives, the dens begin to open. Small cubs step into the Arctic world for the very first time. The mother must now teach them how to survive, how to walk across unstable ice, how to avoid danger, and how to hunt. Polar bears are perfectly designed for Arctic survival. Their thick fur protects them from deadly cold, while their powerful sense of smell allows them to detect prey hidden beneath ice. But even these powerful predators face growing danger. As Arctic sea ice disappears faster each year, survival is becoming harder for the bears that depend on frozen oceans. Winter transforms Wrangel Island into one of the harshest environments on Earth. For long periods, darkness covers the island almost completely. Blizzards move across the frozen landscape while sea ice stretches endlessly across the Arctic Ocean. Temperatures drop to deadly levels. Every animal must fight constantly to survive. Arctic foxes search frozen valleys for food left behind by predators. Snowy owls silently hunt across the tundra. Reindeer struggle through deep snow and freezing winds. Yet even in total darkness, the Arctic remains alive. Beneath the ice, marine life continues to move through freezing waters while predators continue hunting across the frozen landscape. This is not an empty world. It is a hidden world built entirely for survival. Wrangel Island once became famous for something extraordinary. Long after woolly mammoths disappeared from most of Earth, Small populations survived here in isolation. Scientists believe some of the final mammoths on the planet lived on Wrangel Island thousands of years after extinction had already begun elsewhere. This discovery transformed the island into a symbol of prehistoric survival. Even today, the landscape still feels ancient. Frozen valleys, empty tundra, and endless silence make the island seem untouched by modern time. Very few humans have ever lived permanently on Wrangel Island. The climate is simply too harsh. Throughout history, only small groups of researchers, explorers, and Soviet weather station workers stayed here for extended periods. Survival required constant preparation. Food supplies were limited. Storms isolated settlements for months. Temperatures remained dangerously low. Even today, reaching Wrangel Island requires special Arctic expeditions and difficult sea journeys through frozen waters. It remains one of the least visited places in Russia. Scientists closely monitor Wrangel Island because it reveals how quickly the Arctic environment is changing. Sea ice is disappearing faster than before. Warmer temperatures are altering animal migration patterns and hunting conditions. For species like polar bears and walruses, the loss of stable ice creates serious challenges for survival. Many experts believe the Arctic is transforming faster than almost any other region on Earth. Wrangel Island has become a living warning about the future of the polar world. Wrangel Island has become one of the most important locations for studying climate change in the Arctic. Every year, researchers monitor sea ice, animal migration, ocean temperatures, and weather patterns surrounding the island. And the results are alarming. The Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than many other parts of Earth. Sea ice now melts earlier during summer and forms later during winter. For animals living here, this creates a dangerous imbalance. Polar bears depend heavily on stable sea ice for hunting seals. Without enough ice, bears must travel longer distances, use more energy, and spend more time on land searching for food. Some bears become weaker and struggle to feed their cubs properly. Walruses are also being affected. Normally, large ice sheets allow walruses to rest between feeding trips in the Arctic Ocean. But as sea ice disappears, massive groups are forced onto crowded beaches instead. This increases stress, competition, and deadly stampedes within the colonies. Even small changes in temperature can transform the Arctic ecosystem completely. Frozen ground known as permafrost begins to thaw. Rivers change direction, coastlines slowly erode, and weather patterns become less predictable every year. Scientists studying Wrangel Island have also noticed changes in migration behavior among birds and marine animals. Some species are arriving earlier than before. Others are disappearing from certain areas entirely. The Arctic has always been harsh, but now it is becoming unstable. For many experts, Wrangel Island acts like a warning signal for the rest of the planet. Because what happens in the Arctic eventually affects weather, oceans, and ecosystems across the entire Earth. Yet despite these growing challenges, life on Wrangel Island continues to fight for survival. Polar bears still roam across frozen coastlines, walruses still gather on Arctic beaches, and Arctic foxes continue hunting beneath the snow. Nature adapts slowly, but the future of this frozen wilderness remains uncertain. The island that survived ice ages, mammoths, and thousands of years of extreme isolation now faces its greatest challenge yet: a rapidly changing planet. Even in the modern age of satellites, cities, and global travel, Wrangel Island remains astonishingly untouched. There are no crowded roads crossing the tundra, no massive industrial ports, no glowing city lights visible from space. Only wilderness. Endless Arctic silence stretches across frozen mountains and icy coastlines where nature still controls every part of life. Storms shape the landscape. Sea ice controls migration, and survival depends entirely on adaptation. Few places on Earth still feel this remote.